Hello, this is Todd Schultz, and this is my EDL 955 District Facility Module 11 Facilities Audit Overview. I teach in USD 259, that's Wichita School District in Kansas, and that is the largest district in the state of Kansas with over 49,000 students. We are about half and half, male and female. Our ethnicity breakdown, our largest population of students is Hispanic at 35%, and our lowest is other category at 13.2%. We have 78.13 of our students are economically disadvantaged and receiving free and reduced lunches. That's an important aspect for facilities to remember because of the lunchroom and food service side of things. A lot of meals going out for free and reduced lunches and weekend meals. 19.55% of our students are English language learners, and an important thing again for facilities is nearly 16% of our students have disabilities. Many of those are physical disabilities, and that would be important for facilities workers because of ADA compliance within our buildings. Over 4,300 certified staff, teachers, administrators, and other, and over 2,200 classified staff. That's a lot of people managing our buildings and working on our maintenance department crews, yard and buildings and grounds crews, as well as our custodial staff. The big information for the district is that we have 16,000 students travel by bus each day, and they travel over 8.6 million miles on average during a school year. We'll see more about the busing later. More than 47,000 meals are served each day. Very important to remember that many meals go out of our food service areas each day. A lot to consider there for facilities management. District crews maintain 1,800 acres, also very important to remember, and a lot to look at there in the facility audit. There are more than 37,000 interior and exit door keys district-wide. Many of those are the key fobs that our district uses to avoid actually having metal keys. Instrument repair maintains approximately 6,000 musical instruments that are loaned to students each year. Also something we will look at in more detail later. The district has a $2 billion assessed valuation that is all-encompassing of all district property assets, over $2 billion. We have an annual budget of over $700 million that goes through our cash balances each year. The reason I put capital outlay on there is because all of our large construction projects for facilities come out of capital outlay, and that is nearly an $8 million portion of the local and state taxes. The district has 95 buildings that include schools, special schools, maintenance departments, district administration facilities, and the breakdown is many elementary schools at 54, 15 middle schools, 3 K-8 buildings, 9 high schools, and 9 special schools, along with 5 other type of locations. My building is Coleman Middle School, and we are in the heart of Wichita, and we have partially an old building and partially a new building. Some of the great new features of our building are our main entry with key card entry only in the far left door, as you see in the top left picture. We have a new storm shelter and FEMA area that is totally secure from high winds and damaging tornado type situations here in Kansas. And we also have a new parking lot and entryway at the front of the building. Some of our other pictures that I put in this presentation, we have a very well-lit commons in every one of our hall junction places. Our facilities crew do an amazing job keeping the restrooms in working order and also very clean. We also have great visibility to our exterior doors, and one of the areas that I'll discuss in further detail in a bit is because of the older portion of the building, the architecture was done in a rounded style, so there's about 4 or 5 pods that are rounded, and because of that, there's not great visibility to the exterior all the way around the building. Moving on down the pictures, we have great signage throughout the building. Mainly areas that are off limits to students would be electrical rooms and maintenance rooms. Those are kept very well locked and they're clearly marked for that purpose. The other aspect is we have maps posted throughout the whole school where you can see the rounded portions of our building, and the new portion of the rectangular in the top right is our FEMA shelter and storm shelter. We also have staff work areas that are not allowed for student use, and those are clearly marked. Security in the building is very safe. We have security cameras throughout all of the interior and exterior parts of the building. There are some blind spots that I found that there are not security cameras. The most obvious would be in restrooms and locker rooms where they're not allowed for good reason, and then also in some of the areas of the hallways that are not in the main concourse areas. We also have a safe room in the school, which has a locking safe door and a completely enclosed concrete room for student records. Some of the areas of concern that I took some pictures of, and we'll talk in more detail later looking at the report itself, I didn't find that the stairwells in our building were very well lit. I thought they were kind of dim. I think I found some dirty filters in some of our air units, and actually just today, before I started recording this, a gentleman showed up with a box of air filters and was changing those out, but he had no idea that this was in my presentation, but I thought that was interesting. So they do change them on a regular basis, but I also know with old construction they do get full of dirt throughout the winter time with the heaters going so much. So it is nice to know that they're on top of that and they are changing those periodically on a schedule. Some other areas of concern: we had some exposed piping in an area that students could get to. There were some shutoff valves here and one-way shutoffs that students could access should they want to be malicious. I thought that might need to be enclosed or encapsulated somehow. We also had an unlocked door that I found that says hard hat area, and it's above the auditorium and gymnasium area, and I think that would be an area that would definitely need to be locked permanently unless workers are intending to do something back there so students can't access that. The NCEF Schools Facility Checklist was a very, very in-depth document, and I learned an awful lot about the things that an auditor might look at when they come to a school and something that a contractor might need to know before building construction or remodels begin. And as a future district leader, this is a great stepping stone for me to be able to see exactly all of the details that need to go into a safe school. I conducted this myself along with our head custodian. Of the 385 total line items, we were 76.9% compliant with yeses. We had 5.7% or 22 non-compliant sections, and 17.4 just were flat out not applicable. Those were things like we were not near a chemical plant or a train yard, or we were not in a severe area for terrorist danger. We were not in a area that has hurricanes, for instance. We're in the middle of Kansas. We do have tornadoes, but we didn't have hurricanes or tsunami areas, and that was some of the things that were not applicable. The areas of concern you saw in some of the pictures. The other one that I talked about here is exterior visibility. Due to the shape of our building, looking out windows, you can't see all the way around. You'd have to move yourself in order to see outside and check parking lots, check playgrounds, check exterior areas where students might be. Some of the interior issues that I found on the checklist we were not compliant with. Some of our classrooms are without windows in their doors, and some of them do not have windows that let in natural sunlight or allow for a secondary escape should there be a blockage on the main door. Some of our exterior doors, all of our exterior doors, could be propped open, but they may not be noticed if they're in areas that do not have security cameras or have poor visibility. That's a safety concern for student security and staff security throughout the day for an intruder to get in should they want to. And some of our interior doors are not lockable from the inside of the room, meaning you'd have to go out in the hallway in order to lock the door and then shut yourself in if a barricade situation or a run-hide-fight situation took place in the school. I could not find any plans for renovations at the building level because all of our new construction and remodel and renovations goes through the district office. There's a whole department down there that deals with that, and it's not up to the building principals. They certainly request things, and our principal has requested things, and I'll get to that in a little while. We have a wonderful school environment where the exterior of the school is kept very well maintained, and the area of concern in the older parts I talked about already. The one I didn't talk about was the firewall, door, and ceiling tightness, some firewall concerns there. The deferred maintenance of the district has a big reality to it. One high school, they decided it was too expensive to remodel and renovate, so they spent $65 million to build a brand new high school, and that is a huge cost. Staff training is done very well. For our maintenance facility staff members, they have a program for certification completion, on-the-job training, and licensure classes, and they also have a sliding scale for pay. If you have a welding license, an HVAC license, an electrical license, a roofing license, etc., you can be paid more per hour if you are on those crews. And public opinion section, I found some great stuff at greatschools.org where the facilities are well maintained. Students like the new facilities at the new high school. The facilities are now available to host large events, and that they like the cleanliness of that. The student staff morale is a large portion of keeping these facilities in good working order. Some of the staff meeting agenda notes that I took that they wanted to spend money on would be windows for all rooms, outdoor play equipment, updates to basketball courts, and new door locks. The transportation, coming back to that, the district is so large they don't house their own transportation for busing. They use a third-party contractor. Thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing some of yours.